that you've arrived in Madrid, the capital of the nation. We're just going to give you a quick summary of Madrid, passing by Puerta del Sol, the heart of the town. Many streets and subway lines converge, and nearby is Plaza Mayor, which is a big social gathering spot. Has been for hundreds of years. There's lots of restaurants here. You can have a full meal or just a light, refreshing drink, and the streets nearby are just absolutely bursting with human activity. The Gran Via is one of the great boulevards of the world, ranking right up there with New York's Broadway or the Champs-Élysées. The action never stops on the Gran Via. Puerta del Sol at night is also a very lively place, big gathering spot. And we went for a lovely dinner at a fancy hotel. You gotta splurge once in a while. It's nice to be served by waiters wearing tuxedos in a grand, opulent setting. We had a fine meal here. It cost plenty, but it was worth it for this quality cuisine and this level of service and the ambience. Usually with our tours, we just have lunch on the run and then enjoy a fine dinner. And with all the sheep in this country, lamb chops are always a good choice. Now let's take a little drive around Madrid and have a quick look at some of the highlights in the grand boulevards and the fountains and plazas and parks. Passing down the main boulevard of the city, past the Cibeles fountain, and on to Casa De Campo, a major park that's located right within the city. You can take boat rides and enjoy a nice al fresco lunch. The Retiro Park entrance. There's a whole bunch of little parks and some big parks in Madrid. Enjoying the advantage of our city tour bus, passing the Stock Exchange and on to the Colón Monument to Christopher Columbus. We always take a city tour whenever we visit a place with our Hawaii Geographic Society tours, get an overview of what to look for later on. You can get around the city in a variety of ways. There's the bus, and then there's the subway. Madrid has a very extensive metro system. In this case now, we're ending up our city tour with a visit to the palace. It's got 2,800 rooms, one of the biggest in Europe. We're going to visit the Royal Palace, built in the 1730s. Let's go take a look.
This palace was ordered to be built by King Phillip II in 1738. But nowadays, nobody is living here. Don Juan Carlos and his family live in a private palace outside Madrid called La Zarzuela. Our king uses this palace, but only for the official functions. We are going to see the official part of this palace. In the whole building, there are 2,800 rooms.
Of course, the official walking tour leaves out about 2,760 rooms, but you see enough to get a real feeling. Here's the throne room. Its ceiling mural painted by Tiepolo. The ceiling of the dining room is also elaborately painted with a huge table that can seat over 200 people. And next door is the silverware collection.
We are in the chapel, in the royal chapel of this palace. This chapel was also built by the same architect of the whole building, the Italian Sacchetti. The chapel took to be built about 10 years. And if you remember, the whole construction of the palace took about 26 years. Well, this chapel is not used for religious ceremonies. It's only used for very, very special occasions.
And now let's get back in our taxi and have another little look around Madrid. Madrid is a fun city. There's all kinds of things to see and do here. There's great museums like the Prado. There's also countless restaurants. It's a city of 4 million people, so there's a lot of shops, there's a lot of interesting neighborhoods. And of course, there are great museums, particularly the Prado Museum. It's located right in the heart of town, and it contains, among other things, the world's greatest collection of paintings by Velázquez, particularly Las Meninas, perhaps the greatest painting ever done. You'll probably work up an appetite in the museum, and you can grab a quick bite at a stand-up snack shop like this one. Very popular. Or, of course, you can enjoy a sit-down restaurant and take a stroll in some of these quiet back streets. And if you want to experience the busiest, most crowded pedestrian zone in the city, just go into the honeycomb of streets between Puerta del Sol and the Gran Via. There's about 6 parallel lanes here, and they're largely for pedestrians only, and they're lined with shops and department stores and restaurants and sidewalk cafes, and it makes for a fascinating sight and a great place for people watching. The heart of the city here has been extensively cleaned and renovated in recent years, and it's looking extremely beautiful.